Hello, my name's Tommy and I'm delighted to welcome you to Podcast Assemble. If you clicked on this video because of the clickbaity title, well, by now you should really know what's coming. Full disclosure, I don't actually hate Harry Potter. Why would I? The books are great. I actually used to reread the books around once a year as some sort of odd ritual, taking in all the nuances like a nice, warm hug. I'd go as far as saying that they were the books that got me into reading. Now, to get ahead of any comments, I will not be talking about J.K. Rowling here, just the world created. And no, I'm not going to be discussing the books, I'm going to be discussing the movies. The movies that made a gajillion dollars at the box office, made household names out of the main cast, and created a world that's delighted multiple generations. But the movies were by no means perfect, and with the recent takeover of Warner Brothers, it seems that we might be getting even more Potter. With that in mind, I thought it might be fun to once again strap on my concerned citizen hat and discuss a world that might need an intervention. Here's why I hate the Harry Potter movies. Consider this your Harry Potter spoiler warning. Now, we all have that one friend who's consistently pushing up their glasses and trilling, "That moment was way better in the books." Thanks, Dave. This is a cinema. Can you just... Now, the Harry Potter movies created a world that was at its best uniquely lived in and magical. Take, for example, the first time Harry visits the Weasley's house, the Burrow, in the Chamber of Secrets. The tiny details alongside the more overt, like the self-knitting scarf, I think it was a scarf, make it a truly delightful moment. However, at its worst, the movie world is full of plot holes and inconsistencies. Isn't that right, Dave? In fairness, the early cinematic entries did a decent job of condensing the relatively short books of the time into movie-length screenplays. Though, as the books began to balloon out post The Prisoner of Azkaban, more and more had to be left on the cutting room floor. This flips between obscure, embellishing moments like the fan-favourite Death Day party from the books for Nearly Headless Nick, all too briefly portrayed in the movies by the legend that is John Cleese, in which the reader gets a unique insight into how fiercely loyal Harry is by attending the, well, it sort of spells itself out, 500th anniversary of the death of Sir Nicholas, a tiny but deeply rich character detail, with the flip of this being the cutting of pivotal plot points, which truly shape the characters and develop the story. Take, for example, the removal of Neville from the prophecy. For those who don't know, the reason Voldemort, you know who, kills Lily and James Potter is due to the prophecy, which names a boy born at the end of July whose parents thrice defied you know who, and that could have just as easily been Neville as Harry. But that doesn't change the outcome, I hear you cry. Well, perhaps not, but it is in this understanding that you know who chose him, Harry, that builds a resilience and understanding of the situation that drives Harry to destroy the Dark Lord. And without this key detail, Harry's motivations are somewhat messy and missing one of their huge driving factors. I mean, there is also a slavery plotline in the books as well, which, why are so many people cool with? Now I get it. Hollywood demands the ending of every franchise out there to be a big slapping contest that outdoes the previous one and the one before that. Just look at what's happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe if you don't believe me. And for the most part, Part 2 of The Deathly Hallows delivers just that. The showdown at Hogwarts is a dazzling spectacle of kids and adults pew-pewing at the equivalent of, flashing magical pistols at each other. There are some truly great moments. However, it does somewhat miss the point. The very end of the battle sees a de-Horcruxed Voldemort fire one final attempt at Avada Kedavra-ing Harry, and Harry fire back his best Expelliarmus in response. And if you haven't seen or read Harry Potter, that sentence would make absolutely no sense. I digress. As the spells collide, Harry's Master of the Elder Wand wins out, and we see Voldemort's spell rebound and turn him into some kind of weird ash that floats away? A cool visual, maybe? Now in the novels, the whole point of this is that you-know-who believes he is invincible.
I am invincible!
The strongest magical being ever. His final demise at the hands of Harry and fall as a mere mortal is utterly poignant. He did not transcend his mortal shackles, and it was his lack of understanding of those he left behind that made it possible. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot on the internet. Give us more flashing pew pew pews! Okay, to premise. I have read the stories about Daniel Radcliffe's various issues with alcohol abuse and the pressures associated with being cast as a titular hero. As a child actor, that must have been seriously overwhelming. But from a pure acting perspective, he's just not great. There are countless moments where his lack of reaction or overreaction are almost laughable.
He was that friend!
Now that could easily be due to bad direction, but consistently he has this wooden quality which is totally distracting. On our show, Podcast Assemble, we have an anthology which we return to annually to review the Harry Potter movies, and it's no coincidence that Daniel is the one thing that comes up most regularly as distracting. Oh, just look how awkward this is. Now in the books, we follow a character who by design is something of a blank slate, with the purpose being we are supposed to project ourselves into that person and connect on an emotional level. But in the movie, I think a literal slate might have been better here. Now as Danny becomes his own person away from the franchise, he's said in interviews that he can't even watch the movies anymore, which is totally fair. We all hate the sound of our own voice, but having to watch this. Considering how amazingly cast the rest of the movies were, bar perhaps Michael Gambon.
Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
No, sir.
You asked one of the older students to do it for you?
No, sir.
You're absolutely sure?
Yes, sir.
It's a marvel he got the main goddamn character so wrong. Now I still have a lot of love for the magical world, and I am truly excited for the upcoming Hogwarts Legacy game. Essentially, my problem with the movie franchise is the tiny details the books missed, and the way it butchered the ending. Oh no, hang on, wait. My two main problems with the franchise are the missing details, the ending, and the main character. No, wait! Who cares? They should have just used the time turners and gone back and killed baby Volds from the get-go. Plot hole removus. What we want to know is, what do you think? Let me know if you were suckered in by the clickbait title and stayed for my ramblings in the comments below. And if you like what you're hearing, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. We also have that podcast called Podcast Assemble for your regular dose of geeky entertainment, where we have our annual Potter reviews. Why not join us? Thanks for popping by. Tally ho!